What's up guys, how are you? So over the last month you could say, I had this interesting suggestion from a friend of mine, shout out to Joshua George. He suggested that I make a video on a 2017 MacBook Pro in 2020. And so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see how this laptop fares 3 years after it was first released. Let's get right into it. And the first point, which I think is very important when you are talking about this MacBook Pro, is the touch bar. Now, the 2017 MacBook Pro, the 13-inch model, is probably the most latest model out of the entire MacBook Pro line, which offered a touch bar and a non-touch bar. The specific laptop that I have has no touch bar. And I like that for some interesting reasons, and here's why. Well, number one, it's proven and it's been shown, and there have been tests done, and it shows that the touch bar actually takes up some battery life from the MacBook Pro, and this can affect its battery life over time. I personally felt about the MacBook Pro touch bar was that it somewhat didn't work as well as I think Apple wanted it to. It's a brilliant feature in a MacBook Pro, but only if you kind of use it. And I personally didn't feel that. Now, the 2018 MacBook Pro and 2019 MacBook Pro, basically all the MacBook Pros from the last couple of years, all of them besides the 2017 MacBook Pro, offered only a touch bar. So you couldn't pay less for a non-touch bar. You would have to get a laptop with a touch bar. Now, of course, this limits your choice. And in that sense, the MacBook Pro 2017 was a really good buy. Now let's talk about the build quality. Now, I've used the laptop for nearly 3 years, and the build quality has been astounding. As we know, most Apple goods have a main aluminium base, and the MacBook Pro 13-inch 2017 model is no exception. It is a sturdy laptop, a good frame. The screen doesn't twitch at all. It's a smooth transition when you open it. There are no dents or whatsoever, and it's just overall a good quality laptop. But talking about structure, I think that brings us to our first problem, which I found out, which I think you can expect from a small laptop and a thin laptop like this, and that's overheating. It overheats quite a bit. I think, again, you could kind of expect that because this is such a thin laptop. The fans in this laptop aren't exactly big. And when you're using a Mac, and if you're using this MacBook to edit videos like I do, or just overall stream 4K videos on YouTube, or make some songs, or just basically use this powerful software, the laptop becomes not so much a laptop anymore. It's way too hot to hold in your lap, and you're gonna have to use it as a desktop. And so that's definitely one of the problems with this Mac. Then again, if you buy this Mac, you're not a heavy user, and I don't think Apple wants you to be. So in that case, I'm sort of in that blank because I do in fact edit 4K videos like the one you're watching on this Mac. And so certainly it heats up. I have to let it sleep for a while and then I get back to work. So that's definitely one of the key problems with this laptop. And that leads us to our next point, which is performance. Now the thing is, the performance of this laptop is amazing, and I think you can sort of expect that with a Mac. It all holds up. Sometimes the RAM does become laggy, but if I'm not using multiple tabs, or again, if I'm not editing 4K videos, it's a pretty good experience. It's smooth, easy to use, there's not much lag between software, no crashes. Other than that, it's a good laptop because it just works. And 3 years down the line, it still works. I wouldn't say as good, obviously, as it was when I first bought it and I first opened it, but I would definitely say it's at least 80% there. And to be honest, for a laptop like this, that is pretty good. Another positive of this laptop, and which I have felt even in 2020, is the display. It's a great Retina display, and if you buy any other Macs coming after 2017, most of the displays are the same, so you're not really going to miss out in terms of Retina display and pixels when you buy this Mac compared to 2019 Mac or 2018 Mac, because the Retina display has virtually remained the same, and it's a good display, and I understand why they haven't changed it because it works, it's good. watching 4K videos on this, again, is good stuff. It's clear, it's crispy, and so it's definitely one of the top displays in the market. And 2017 Mac is without a doubt still up there. Okay, let's talk about the battery for a moment, because this is personally something that I have experienced with my Mac. Now, if you look at other YouTubers' videos and them reviewing the 2017 Mac, they have really good battery life. I actually watched a video where one of the YouTubers explained that they could get through the entire day, watch an entire Netflix series, and edit some parts of a video while the battery still stayed alive. And that is truly astounding for a laptop. But for me, well, it sucks. Without a doubt, it sucks. Like, impeccably bad. For example, I'll give you an example real quick. So I was doing some work, obviously, and my plug accidentally came out from the bottom of my desk. There's a plug. I have a plug point, and that actually slipped out. So I thought my laptop was still attached to a charger, but it wasn't. And I was using it on the desk, obviously. So I'm at 50%, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And I'm in a Google Meet class, alright? A Google Meet class, a video class. And then out of nowhere, my display shuts off. And I'm like, what just happened? And then I realized, yep, the battery's given out again. Amazing. And so I plug it in, right? I just plug in the charger, and I realize the plug point is disconnected, so I plug it back. I just click the power button just once, and it turns back on, just like immediately. And guess what the power is? Guess what the battery percentage is? 98%. It showed me 50%, and now it was at 98%. Please explain that to me. Like, I do not understand. And the thing is, I'm not the only one this has happened to, because supposedly when Apple manufactured some of these Macs, there was a problem which came with the battery, and that was when it charged, it expanded dramatically, and of course when it wasn't, it shrinked dramatically. And this constant expansion and shrinking basically dwindled down the percentage of battery that the Mac had, and eventually made the battery so chaotic that certain malfunctions such as this happen, which are definitely extremely annoying. It's not a laptop anymore because I have to leave it on charge for a majority of the day, and I think I understand why this happened, and that's actually because I can't use Macs in school. And so when you leave a Mac on a charger for the entire day that you're in school, right, which I did, what happens is there's this current going in and coming out constantly, because the Mac does use some battery while it's idle, of course. And so this constant charge and recharge over and over again actually destroyed my battery, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to get it serviced quite soon, eventually, but yeah. So that's definitely, again, one of the negatives that I've experienced with this 2017 MacBook Pro. Okay, so what else? Good speakers. Absolutely. I mean, the speakers on this are amazing. Like, I was talking to my friend that day, Joshua again, and he was talking about whether I had a speaker, and I basically just pointed to my Mac speakers because they are just that good. When you're watching Netflix videos or YouTube videos, you're not going to require earphones or anything else because the quality is just amazing. And it's overall one of the best speakers I've ever used in any laptop before. Okay, I may get a lot of controversy for this, but I think it should be mentioned. The keyboard. Now, when the butterfly keyboard first came out, there was a lot of hate because, I mean, especially for mechanical keyboard users, because here was a device which had sort of clicky but not clicky keyboard at the same time. But I personally have enjoyed it. Of course, it's not like a mechanical keyboard. It isn't as satisfying, and I understand that. But when you're buying a Mac this thin and you have this keyboard, it sort of just works. It functions. And I've actually enjoyed typing on it. It's ideal for really quick typing because the travel on the key is quite minimal. So when you're trying to type fast, especially if you have some homework or something, it's rather rapid. It's quite a fast experience. There isn't any interruption when you're switching keys by any chance. So it's a rather flat surface. I don't think you're going to really have any problem, well, in my personal view, if you use the first, I think this is the first edition butterfly keyboard, because it's actually just fine. Now this goes for all Macs, right? Every single Mac that you have, at least any reasonably good Mac you're gonna have from this point on, is you're gonna have to use dongles. I use this dongle. It's especially good. It has an SSD card, 3 USB ports, and of course a USB-C. There, I hope you can see it. Yeah, and it's reasonably alright. I mean, of course it isn't as nice as being able to plug in ports immediately. You're gonna have to use this and carry it, and it can be sometimes inconvenient. But again, truly, I've had no problem. And you have to understand, when you're buying a laptop this thin, basically a Mac, you just gotta expect it and just make sure you use it. And definitely buy a dongle like this, not those dongles which Apple sell, because they're ripping you off. Trust me. So finally, we have come to the end of this video, and I'm gonna give you some advice. So if you are convinced, or if you are more motivated, you could say, into looking into buying a 2017 MacBook Pro, it's a good laptop. It's significantly cheaper than it was, let's say, 3 years ago when I bought it. Around actually, like, you could say 600 ringgit cheaper, so quite significant. If you have a heavy workflow, which I sometimes have, it may not be ideal, and maybe a 15-inch or 16-inch MacBook Pro would be the best thing to do. But this is definitely a good MacBook Pro. And also remember, if you ever buy a Mac, buy the 256GB model. Don't be motivated to buy the cheaper model, which is the 128GB version. Because trust me, when you download like just a few apps, that stuff is just taken up immediately. Like, you're gonna have 30GB left of 1 month down after you buy it, trust me. So buy the 256GB model and you'll be set with a good laptop. Just remember to take care of the battery too. Not like me, because you know, yeah, but the more you learn, right? Yeah. I think that summarizes it. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. Shout out to Joshua again for suggesting this video. And if you guys have any more suggestions, be like Joshua and leave them in the comments below, or DM me on my Instagram page, which I will leave a link to in the description below. That's all from me, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and of course, see you in the next one.